Alrighty, and we're back. This is part 2 of the Helluva Boss review. And I'll start things off with episode 1. Season 1, episode 4, Cherub. Now, as I said in the previous video, IMP stands for Intermediate Murder Professionals. Cherub happens to be the polar opposite. Instead, they want to help people all get into heaven rather than help people. Bringing people to hell, I guess I can say. You know what? The hell with it. And the more I use the H word in these videos, I'm going to say the actual words. It's for this because there's no way around it. If YouTube has a problem with it, bite me. The IMP office gets invaded by an eccentric inventor who recently passed away. He wants to hire IMP to take out his former partner, who managed to survive a little experiment they were doing. And which was to help keep the world's billionaires young forever. However, something went wrong, and both of them aged. One of them ended up in hell, the other one's still alive, yet very old, and on the brink of death. Millie, Moxie, and Blitz go up to Earth and try and take him out, but then get sideswiped by Cherub. M4 or agents. Wait, 3 agents. This would be appropriate. An actual cherub, a lamb. No wait, and 2 lambs, I think. Whatever, you know what I mean. And they want to help this old man and see that life is definitely worth living for. Well, IMP want us to off them off because they've already been paid to do so. And I love all the contrasts as that go on throughout this entire thing. And up until the cherubs just say, hey, you know what, screw the rules, let's just get rid of the imps. And throughout this entire dogfight, I guess I can call it, old man Lipton, that's watching this, realizing that he has a lot to live for because he has all the money and he can have, so he can buy all the things he wants. Unfortunately, though, things got take a turn as the cherubs, quote unquote, help the old geezer kick the bucket. And when the piano was catapulted right at him. And when they try to retreat back to heaven, and they're told by their boss, which is a deer, that they cannot go back to heaven as they've killed someone. When one of the cherubs try is to defend them in their group by putting the blame on the imps, they're nowhere to be found. So hopefully in a later episode, they'll come back like as fallen angels. Now, the episode ends with Lupti and Lipton and back together. As it turns out, they were actually friends. And I have to point this out too. There's a big reference to these two characters. For the life of me, I know who they're supposed to resemble. As the old guy who somehow survived the aging process, this machine. And he's supposed to be based off of Robotnik from the old Sonic cartoon. But whatever. Now, for the 5th episode of season 1 is the Harvest Moon Festival. In the Ring of Wrath, every year there's a festival centered around the Harvest Moon. Stolas has to go because he's royalty and he has to show up. But he decided and it's to hire Blit as a sort of an escort, I guess. And since Millie is originally from Wrath, they decided to go there for the festival, and Millie decides to go there to introduce her husband, Moxie, to her parents. So it's kind of a family reunion in a way. And I have to say, for the record, every ring in hell has a certain air to it. The Ring of Wrath, as a sort of archetypal southern feel, as it's more rural. A lot of the denizens there are farmers or ranchers. In other words, it kind of has an old western look to it. But we actually get to meet Millie's parents, as well as her sister, I think, or one of her siblings. She mentions in Lululand, and that she has numerous siblings. Funny, we never get to see any of them. But anyways, you would expect, Millie's parents don't exactly like Moxie at first. This gets even worse as we're introduced to a new character, Stryker, who actually looks pretty badass as for an imp. He's like one of these desperado cowboy types. As riding a flaming hell horse, has a golden fang, and actually makes hissing sounds every now and then. Excuse me. And throughout the festival, Stryker one-ups Moxie, even singing a song that kind of make Mox feel lower than dirt. Behind the scenes, though, Stryker and Blitz kind of come up with a deal that will allow Stryker to work for him in IMP. However, Moxie finds out exactly what Stryker's up to, as he possesses a weapon, and that's used to take down higher level demons. In other words, Stolas. As he and Millie, and even Blitz, that's trying to fight Stryker, but the guy gets away. When Millie's parents try and berate her for being reckless, Moxie actually stands up to them and defends her, and even chastises them for hiring Stryker as their farmhand. and which actually get it's their respect. But before the episode ends, we find out something interesting. Like IMP, Stryker is a hired hand and a hired assassin. Who hired him exactly? Oh, let's just say it's a screeching C word, or who's still with Stolas. And to make matters worse, she actually discusses this over the phone on Stryker with Stolas and Octavia right in front of her. So she has no qualms with openly admitting to hiring someone to kill her husband. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. I do not like Stella one bit. As the series continues, I'm still not going to like her one bit. Now for episode 6, which is Truth Seekers. Wait, did I get that right? Yeah, I did. It's Truth Seekers. During a mission, and Moxie and Blitz end up getting captured by this Men in Black sort of organization called Dorks. Don't ask. Millie and Luna try to come up with a way to save them. Two of the head operatives try to interrogate Ed Blix and Moxie, but are pretty much gaslit and harassed the entire time. That is until they decide to hit them with a truth serum gas, which makes them tell each other things that we kind of already guessed. Like in Moxie and Millie's marriage, let's just say in bed, Millie is the dominant one. It gets even worse for them, as the gas causes them to have hallucinations. And we have two different styles. Moxie has a sort of Broadway-esque, Disney-style animated and Phantom of the Opera based hallucination and sequence, while Blitz has an existential crisis as in a sort of death metal style. Excuse me, man. During which we see three individuals, as we've met already: Fizzaroli, Baraska, and now Stryker. There is each of them torment and Blitz psychologically. Once the gas clears up, Blitz kind of confides in Moxie that he says what he says and he does what he does because he knows Moxie can do better. Or for the company. Now with Millie and Luna to the rescue, things get a lot more interesting. And as we see all four of them take out Dork's agents left and right. That is until the two head agents decide to seal off all exits. That's pretty much trapping them. And because is Luna can't read. In the book, when the lights turn red, and they think the goose has been cooked. That is until they're saved by and someone and who definitely has some power in the human world. As one of the operatives ends up getting possessed, and the body is of their fallen comrades. It's sort of create a summoning circle in order to bring about who stole us. And wow. Oh, I have one little thing I got to say about him in this episode. Even though he's only seen for like a brief moment and what's it as hallucination, and in the third act of this episode, he does so much at just so little time, and to pretty much scare the humans. Now we come to the final episode of season 1. I know there were 8, but I counted the trial pilot as its own episode arc. For season 1, episode 7, Aussies. It's Millie and Moxie's wedding anniversary, so they decided to go to the Lust Ring and to celebrate. Blitz wants to tag along as a third wheel, but Moxie persistently tells him that it's only for them. Blitz decides to follow anyway, and to this nightclub called Aussies. But because only couples can get in into Aussies, Stola is invited. And I have to say, for this episode, Stola looks pretty good dressed in that galaxy cape. Now, in this episode, we see a Varaska Mayday once again, and at the bar, and we see the real Fizzaroli, as well as his boss, as Ozzy, or there's many of us who have looked into demonology, Asmodeus. Now, I want to say this right off the bat. Each ring of hell is ruled by a certain demon, or devil, I guess would be the better term. Like for the ring of pride, we have Lucifer, or who's way at the top. Wrath, we have Satan, and sloth, we have Belphegor. Or gluttony, we have Beelzebub. Avarice, we have Mammon. And for lust is Asmodeus. And how they made him look in this episode, ooh, I like the look of them. He kind of gives off this Dr. Facilier, a rooster sort of look. As for his singing voice, he definitely reminds me of Oogie Boogie in a way. And when Moxie tried to sing his song he wrote for Millie, Fizzaroli and Ozzy interrupt, and we have like one of the best villain songs I've ever heard, or to come out of a web series. Blitz interrupts it to flat out admit he's watched Millie and Moxie do it. And when Fizzaroli takes notice of this, both him and Varaska lay into Blitz. That's saying how much of a POS he is. And then when Osmodeus sees Stolas, oh man. And the crap definitely hits the fan. Because, as it turns out, according to the series, high-level demons can have relationships with the low-class demons like imps. And because Stolas is a prince, this is definitely a clash of classes. Hence, one of the reasons why Stella is pissed at him. And wow, this episode left on a very emotional cliffhanger. After Blitz drops Stolas off at his mansion or palace, Blitz goes back home, finds out Moon is at a party with Vortex, and we see him flip through his phone. On his photo album, we see him as a kid with Fizzaroli. We see him with Millie and Moxie. We see him with Luna. But the final picture, we see him with two other imps. His sister and his mother. Upon seeing this last photo, Blitz breaks down and starts crying. And that's it for the end of season 1. Earlier this year, or in 2023, Vivzie Pop released season 2. Now, I heard some things about there potentially being a part 2 to Ozzy's, but that got canceled due to the fact that it would have a sort of crossover reference to Has Been Hotel. And because Has Been Hotel has been bought by another company, Vivzie Hip Hop owns or is the creator of both Has Been and Helluva Boss, she can't legally intermingle both franchises, even though they literally take place in the same universe. But I digress. Season 2, Episode 1, Circus, actually explains a whole lot. Now, what I said in the previous video is going to be explained here. The episode actually starts with Stolas as a young kid, or young owlet, at celebrating his birthday. Oh yeah, by the way, it's my birthday today, so kind of the reason why I'm doing this. Stolas gets ready to see his father, Paimon, who is an actual demon. And according to demonology, is Stolas. And oh yeah, this episode actually featured there's a voice actor I kind of recognize, and so do a lot of other people. God, I'm trying to find his name. What's his name? Shoot. But anyway, I know who he voices. The voice actor of Jafar, or from Aladdin. Yeah, he's still alive. And now, whenever I hear Jafar, or his voice, for some odd reason, I hear Paimon. I see Paimon in my head, and vice versa. And unfortunately for young Stolas, his father tells him that, hey, now that he's old enough, has his own grimoire, and he's also was engaged to someone in an arranged marriage later on. And guess who it is? Yeah. Stolas' bride-to-be, at that point, is Stella. And even upon looking at a photo of her, you can tell he does not like her one bit as he starts crying. In order to get Stolas to stop crying, Paimon takes his son to the circus, where we actually get to see Fizzarelli and Blitz when they were kids. Now, I have a question for Vivsy regarding this. Is Fizzarelli was actually Blitz's his friend? Or was he like a brother? Anyway, as it turns out, Blitz's family, he owns a circus. His father, being the ringleader. By the way, once Stolas sees Blitz, you can kind of see a little twinkle in his eyes. Paimon takes notice of Stolas' interest in Blitz and goes to the ringleader to purchase Blitz. It's to be Stolas' his friend. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. Blitz's father wants him to go be Stolas' friend so that he can have his son steal from the Galicias. While he's with Stolas, they actually end up having fun. Unbeknownst to the young Galicia, that his friend is robbing his family blind, of all their valuable possessions. There's a point in the episode where Blitz and Stolas actually end up talking about the future. And how they'll always be friends. Cut to 25 years later, after Stolas is married to Stella, and they have had Octavia. Stella, understandably, he has a hard time putting on a happy face around his wife, especially after she's posted at a pre-divorce party in the paper. It isn't too soon after that the bodyguard hellhounds that Stolas and Stella have in their palace, as Art the master, that they found somebody trespassing on the property. Blitz. Stolas remembers him and says that he should take care of the imp himself. He brings Stolas to his chamber, where he kind of reminisces. Meanwhile, Blitz keeps eyeing the grimoire. And a series of events too graphic for me to describe, because I don't want to get flagged. Stolas ends up having an epiphany that he's fallen for Blitz. And then this is the first time in his life if they actually feels passionate towards someone. And considering his marriage, I do not blame him. And just before Blitz tries to take off with the grimoire, Stolas lets me know that to make things better, or it's with his first and only friend. His first friend. Kind of feeling bad. And Blitz says that it'll only be a minute. But the next morning, and what actually takes place is again in the original pilot, where Blitz sneaks out of Stolas' bedroom with the grimoire, Shine, and sorry, I effed your husband. And Stolas announced it as the divorce are to be true now, as his relationship with Blitz officially starts. Now, the episode ends with Stolas singing a pretty remorseful song called "Owl in a Cage." And after which, Stella kind of starts to berate him again. To which Stolas finally stands up to her and tells her to get out of his life. Not without Stella plotting something nefarious. I'm going to cut it off right here, or we'll continue on with the next 3 episodes in the next video.